what's going on YouTube? This is Kiaguyjoe here, and I'm back with another video. Finally, I have the 2022 Kia Forte GT. This thing looks pretty nice, y'all. Definitely reminds me of the new Kia Stinger on the GT line, at least. The GT is still, you know, reminiscent of the GT from the previous years. But this Forte GT really reminds me of a smaller version of the Stinger GT line. Beautiful shade of currant red. Hope I pronounced that name right. But this shade of red is pretty nice. Better shade of red than I've seen on any other vehicles. It's kind of like a dark, not too dark of a red, but it's not too bright of a red either. GT line and the regular other models most likely have the same engine, but I believe the GT is where you get the most powerful engine with horsepower and torque and whatnot. So this is very comparable to something, or at least in the category of the Toyota Corolla, the Nissan Sentras, and you know, those other small vehicles in this category. But in my opinion, the Forte beats them all out because it has better styling, better interior, the technology in interior, and probably a little bit more space. I don't want to be too sure on that because I don't really test any of the other vehicles, but from the space in the vehicle, it is pretty spacious. So I would say Kia wins in that category, but they definitely win in the styling category, in my opinion. You have these red and black painted grille patterns right here, and you also have the GT badge. I believe the GT line will actually say GT line, but GT of course will say GT. So that's how you can tell the GT line from the GT, and also of course the engine choice that you would get in the vehicle as well. The rest of the front of the vehicle, take a look at these headlights, guys. I really like the design that they put on it this year. Again, it's reminiscent to the Stinger GT line. I believe the Stinger GT line, if I can remember, only has 2 of these LED strips. But on the Forte here, it has 3 because the headlights are pretty big. It's full LED. I believe this is the only model that offers full LED on the Forte. I believe the lower trims get halogen projectors and probably LED fog lights. This model does have LED fog lights as well, and as you guys can see, it has this, you know, black trim with some red accents around it. Breaks up the black a little bit. And you also have this nice silver trim right here that breaks up the red. Looks pretty nice. It's not real metal or aluminum or anything. It's, you know, silver painted plastic, but feels high quality. Looks pretty nice as well. If you look at the hood, they have these cut lines. I'm not sure if my camera will pick that up, but they have these cut lines on the hood as well. I'm not sure if the previous generation Forte had it, but I wasn't able to get the previous generation. As you guys can see, this is your compact vehicle. It has grown in size from the previous model year because these you know, small compact vehicles are growing. But I believe this is as big as it's going to get before you get to an actual sedan size. Nice proportions on the side. Nothing too fancy or, you know, eye-popping as far as the Hyundai products. They don't have any geometric patterns. Just pretty plain and flat. But on this vehicle, I don't really mind it, especially in this color. It still looks pretty nice. Coming to the wheels here, these are wrapped in Kumho tires. The size is 225/40 by 18s on the front and rear. This is a front wheel driven car, but the wheels here, they do look pretty nice. As you can see, Kia logo in the middle with some red accents around the center cap. The arches and whatnot aren't wide enough for me, in my opinion. I kind of like my rear arches to be wide so they can be easy to clean. But I do like the design. They do look pretty nice. The only thing I can knock them on is not offering all-wheel drive or just rear wheel drive on these on any of their powerful cars, except the Stinger at least. I think Kia needs to go into the route of all-wheel drive more and rear-wheel drive instead of front-wheel drive. Coming to the rest of the side of the vehicle, as you guys can see here, black painted mirror with LED turn signals on it. No fancy camera in the mirror for any blind spot controls or anything, but it does have blind spot monitoring, as you guys can see right there. And the rest of the proportions of the vehicle, just really plain. You have some black cladding on the bottom as well, and unlock button on the door handle. The shape of the Forte remains relatively the same as last year. It's still you can still see it as a Forte. It just looks better. You know, they really upgraded it. It's just a really is just an update. It's not a full redesign. Just a just a relatively small update. Of course, a different front and different rear as well. As I come to the rear of the Forte, of course, you guys will see the Kia badging here. Looks pretty nice. New taillight design as well. It imitates the front. I believe the rear is full LED, but this middle portion does not light up. I think it's just there for show. I'm not sure. It's a little bit bright, but I don't believe this middle portion lights up. Of course, you have a reverse camera. Another thing I'm going to knock Kia on is this turn signal design. I don't like the way that looks. It just looks like an afterthought. It's not LED. It just looks LED because of the way that the housing looks, but it's incandescent design. I just don't think Kia needs to keep putting the turn signal down here. They need to find some way to incorporate up there, like some of their other products. It just looks a little tacky on the smaller vehicles, and it just looks like an afterthought. But that's another thing I'm going to knock Kia on. I have knocked them on that and Hyundai on a few other vehicles, and I'm going to continue to do that until I see some sort of change. These vents here are not functional, just there for show. And also the reverse light is there too, so that's very low. I'm not sure. It's just way too low for my opinion. Dual exhaust for the Forte this year. I'm not sure if the last generation GT had dual exhaust, but these ones do have dual exhaust, and then it's connected just to the muffler garnish right there, with some more piano black trim right there with some red accents in the rear as well. GT badging, and you have a black rear lip spoiler right here. It's probably not going to add too much downforce, but it is there, nicely seated, and just looks pretty nice on this color. So this is the trunk space of the Forte. I would say this is maybe about 12 cubic feet of space, which is very spacious. Be sure to put the correct numbers in the video if I'm wrong, but it is very spacious. You can probably fit a good amount of storage in here, roller bags and whatnot. Shouldn't be too hard to fit in this Forte. This isn't an automatic trunk either, though, just so be mindful of that. It is manually assisted. They also gave you a grab handle to close the trunk, which is something that they took out the 2022 Ford K5. They took this out the K5. I don't know why. They had it in the Optima, but they took it out the K5. But now they put it back for the Forte GT, so put fingers on your paint. So this is the engine bay of the 2022 Kia Forte GT. Firstly, that ticking you guys might hear is the fuel injection. Kia, Hyundai, Genesis, they're known to use fuel injected, engines. So that's where the ticking comes from. But anyway, this is a 1.6 liter turbo 4 engine with 201 horsepower and I believe 196 pound-feet of torque. I'll be sure, as always, to put the correct numbers in the video, rather. But of course, plenty of power, plenty of, passing power. You should be able to get good fuel mileage in this vehicle as well. I believe you can get a high of 29 or 30 if I'm correct. But again, I'll be sure to put the correct numbers in the video. But like I said, pretty peppy engine with some great passing power, and you should have no issues with that or fuel mileage depending on how hard you push it. I believe this is the fastest in the category, or the most powerful in the category, you know, between the Nissan Sentra, the Toyota Corolla, you know, things of that nature. But if it isn't, yeah, I'd still choose the Forte in my opinion over those vehicles. This is a cheaper or not too of an expensive vehicle, so you know, one thing you're going to find in this is a manual prop rod. Not too big of a deal. Just be mindful that it is manual and not hydraulically assisted. That's going to do it for the engine bay and the outside of the Kia Forte. Let's get into the inside and see what kind of goodies we got in there. Okay, so we can get away from the wind and traffic noise. Let's go ahead and hop inside the Kia Forte. But before we do that, let's take a look here at the door panel. As you guys can see, all of this feels hard, but if you press it hard enough, you can sink your fingers into it. So it's very thinly padded, but it's not all the way hard touch plastics. This right here is padded, leather padded and whatnot. You have some faux red leather stitching right here. But of course, all of that at the bottom of the door is hard touch plastics. You have a 8-speaker Harman Kardon audio system, which should sound pretty good. And of course, you have your window controls. You have one touch for the front, or just the front driver. Everything else is you have to, you know, manually do it. Just one touch up and down for the driver. And of course, you have your window, or your mirror controls rather. This right here is hard touch plastics, piano black plastic with some, you know, patterns in it to make it look like you might have some LED lighting, but you don't in that area. And as you guys know, this is a compact car, so the stepping height is pretty low. As you guys can hear, it's a nice and solid sounding thunk right there. No rattles or shakes throughout the door. But take a look here at this interior, guys. Looks pretty nice, very premium feeling, I would say, but it's not all the way premium, of course. It's not Mercedes-esque or anything, but I would argue it's very competitive for its price, of course, at least comparable to the competition. And this interior is probably one of the biggest reasons why I would choose this vehicle over any of the competition it has. Firstly, let's take a look here at the steering wheel. As you guys can see, new Kia badging with a pretty relatively same design, I believe, from last year, but you know, feels nice and leather wrap. GT logo right there in the bottom. It is, you know, sort of flat bottom, not all the way flat, but you know, has a relatively nice design and look and feel to it. Some piano black plastic on the steering wheel as well. That gets kind of dusty because I have the same, pretty much the same design in my vehicle as well. On the left side of the steering wheel, you have your phone and volume controls, and you can also change the mode between radio, Apple CarPlay, and you have your favorites button right here, which you can map to go to, of course, your maps, Android Auto, or Apple CarPlay, or any other setting that you want that button to go to. The horn, very nice and loud. Didn't think it would be that loud, but I didn't expect it to be wimpy either for this price point and for this trim. On the right side of the steering wheel, you have your distance controls. This vehicle does have lane assist as well to help you, you know, maintain your lane and to maintain the distance between the vehicle in front of you. Pretty standard gauge clusters right here. They don't offer a digital gauge cluster in the Forte. Not sure if they ever will, but you know, it does look pretty nice. Very nice and, you know, bright. Very easy to see in bright lights. There is no heads-up display. You cannot get that on the Forte, which is to be expected. But of course, you can go through your menus with this controller right here. You know, check out your miles per hour. Look, all the usual stuff, navigation or compass rather, and all your vehicle controls and settings. Pretty easy to use. You guys, if you get in this vehicle, you can know how to use everything right away. You have your, I guess, Camaro Mercedes inspired, you know, air vents right here. Nice and solid feeling with that very satisfying click that you guys can hear. Very nice. You have your dimming controls for the interior lighting. Not sure if the Forte has ambient lighting. If it does, I'll have to check in the menu, but it's way too bright for me to tell right now. You have your blind spot monitoring that you can turn on with that button right there, turn on and off. I'm not sure what would go here. This is the GT2 package, so I'm not sure if this vehicle has everything or it's missing something. And of course you have your traction control. Taking a look here at the dash, you have some soft touch injection molded plastic. Again, it feels hard, but if you press it hard enough, you can sink your fingers into it. And that's all across the dash. I'm actually glad they didn't really cheap out to use hard touch plastics, but it is, you know, rather soft touch and whatnot. You have this silver garnish that goes across the whole dash. Looks pretty nice. And again, that same deal of materials on the door to give you guys a better view. You have soft touch injection molded plastic up top, which is thinly padded again, but if you press it hard enough, you can sink your fingers into it. All across, you have soft padded area right there, and all that below is hard touch plastics. Your glove compartment is damped, but it's not lined with felt. You do have a good amount of space in there, pretty deep. You could probably fit a good size computer in there, maybe 13, 14 inches, and an iPad. You have a nicely padded area right here. It's not hard touch plastics, but again, that same deal of material, you press it hard enough, you can sink your fingers into it. Nice and deep, no USB or cigarette lighter in there or whatnot. Just, you know, just there for storage. You have two cup holders right here. You have a nice place to hold, you know, to put your phone. You have your electronic parking brake and a button to enable and disable auto hold, which is a good feature. Right here you have your heated and cooled seats, 3-stage for both the passenger and the driver. You have your drive mode selector right here. You have sport, smart, and normal. No eco mode, but you can drive in smart for eco mode, you know, per se. You have your camera button right here to toggle through just your reverse camera. You can, you know, hit that button right there. There is no 360 camera offered on the Forte, but that's to be expected for this price point. You have a manual shifter here, or not manual, but, you know, just your shifter here. Of course, you have P for park, R for reverse. When you go in reverse, you guys can see the camera pops up and whatnot, and then you have some distance markers right here. You have a little storage area right here. You have two USB ports, and there is your you know, charger lighter for whatever you want to use that for right there. You have a wireless charging pad up top, which is rubberized, so your phone won't be sliding all back and forth and whatnot. And coming up here to the HVAC controls, pretty traditional controls. I'm glad Kia is still keeping, you know, buttons and knobs in some of their vehicles, but of course in some of their more expensive products they're getting rid of them for some strange reason. But I really think they should keep knobs because they're just easy to use. Touchscreens and whatnots can be a little finicky in my opinion, and you can't go wrong without buttons and knobs. And of course you have your you know, fan control, speed. It is dual climate control, so the passengers can have theirs and you can have yours, so that's pretty nice. Above that you have this 10.25 touchscreen. I'll get back to that in a second though. Up top you have standard size sunroof, no panel sunroof offered on the Forte. That's to be expected for this price point. You have LED lighting throughout the cabin, which is a great surprise right there, honestly. I thought it would be incandescent. You have this black headliner, which isn't suede, but it's just black in color. But I actually prefer this material than something a little bit lighter. The lighting for the mirror is incandescent, so you guys be mindful of that. But the mirror does extend, as you guys can see. But coming back to the touchscreen here, the 10.25 Kia system here, they changed the name from UVO. They no longer use a UVO name for the system anymore. I'm not sure what they call it. I have to double check on that and put it in the video. But I heard that they don't use the name UVO anymore in their vehicles. So this is, for now, we're just going to call it the Kia infotainment system until I get the right name. But of course, as you guys can see, it's touchscreen. They kept the knob, the tuning knob, and the volume knob, which I really appreciate because, again, knobs are good. And with the tuning knob, you can do that with Kia, Hyundai, and Genesis map. That's just a feature that I really appreciate. I don't know why, I just really like that feature. I'm probably always going to talk about it because that's just a feature that I really like. You have a map button. You have a nav button, which is weird because, of course, you can go to the map and you can navigate from the map. But I guess they gave you more choices than you needed, honestly, which is always a good thing as well. Of course, you have another favorites button right there. Of course, you can map your Apple CarPlay and whatnot, and maps and whatnot. They still put the UVO in there, but you know, of course, I believe they're changing the UVO name. They're no longer using that name. Well, of course, you have seek up or track up and track down, your radio, media. You have your Sirius XM built into this vehicle, the warm fireplace. And doing that, it gave me a good opportunity to test out this Harman Kardon audio system. Sounds pretty good. This is a smaller vehicle, so the sound doesn't have, you know, too far to travel, so it sounds pretty good. This layout, I still don't really like the purple theme. I don't believe you can change that. I wish Kia gave you the option to do that. I just don't like the purple theme that they're going with here. You know, this is just when you're not in the apps and whatnot. And then, as you guys can see, you have a little map on the side right there. These seats feel pretty nice. As you guys can see, some GT lettering in red on the seats. As I said, they are heated and cooled and nicely padded. They feel very nice, very nicely bolstered. If you put the vehicle in sport mode, the seats won't tighten up on you to, you know, give you a better grip. But they do feel pretty nice. They're not too big, not too small, and they're very comfortable. But let's hop into the back seat and let's see how we fit back there. Alright guys, now we're in the rear of the Kia Forte GT 2022. As you guys can hear, that was a solid sounding thunk right there. No shakes or rattles throughout the door. The first thing you'll probably notice is this piano black portion right here is not the same as the front. They did not add the, you know, designs to the rear of the vehicle. It's just a piano black piece right there. But same deal of materials on the door. On the rear is hard touch plastics. But this is the only portion that's padded right here. Everything else is hard touch plastics on the rear of the door. So it is different from the front. On the front, if you press this hard enough, it was, you know, you can sink your fingers into it, but you can't do that on the rear. You have a little window right there, you know, for those who may be claustrophobic. I have a lot of space back here. Firstly, guys, I am sitting behind myself. I'm about 5'10", and I do have a good bit of knee space. I sit very comfortably behind myself, as that seat is in my, you know, driving position. Very comfortable. I have a lot of space beneath the seat for my feet. So there are no compromises back here, guys. It feels very, very nice. This seat is very nice and padded. Same deal of materials. They didn't embroider the back backrest with any GT symbols or anything, so be mindful of that. But these seats are very, very comfortable. Fold this down. You have a you know, 2 cup holders as well as double as your armrest. These seats do fold down 60/40, as you guys can see. So it can give you more cargo space. You have one mat pocket here, nothing on the driver's side. You have 2 air vents, which is kind of rare for this vehicle in this class because they're starting to take out the air vents for the rear. And you also have 1 USB port down there. So again, guys, this vehicle, in my opinion, is the best vehicle in this class. And I'm not being paid to say that. It's just my opinion. I just like the way it feels. I have a lot of space. You know, very spacious, very nice. A lot of foot space underneath the seat, as I said. And anybody that gets in this vehicle should be pretty comfortable if they're not too big or too tall and whatnot. But other than that, that's going to do for the rear of the Kia Forte. Let's go back outside to get another walk around. So guys, thank you for watching this video of the 2022 Kia Forte GT. If you guys like this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts on this vehicle. And let me know if you would purchase this vehicle. If it were on my list, I would definitely purchase this vehicle compared to its competition. I really like the design, the spacious interior, the tech is just, you know, ways ahead of its current competition. For everything that it has right now, it starts at 26 and some change. So in my opinion, I think this vehicle is very, you know, well equipped compared to other, you know, other vehicles that probably give you the same amount of stuff or less. And I would definitely purchase this vehicle. But again, you guys let me know what you would do if you would purchase this vehicle, why or why not. This is Kiaguyjoe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.